Hey, what's up, guys? I'm gonna make my second video for the night. I think I will just make them every night at work for the time being, because I have a lot of information, so I could be doing this for weeks, and I'm always doing more growth. So it'd be easy to kind of stay caught up, and I want to get a few videos out there to kind of get spreaded out into the world as much as possible, because the world is definitely changing greatly and fast, But I want to go back to astral traveling and understanding your histories and stuff like that, and what your past lives and sometimes in your regular life. Because let me get into your regular life traumas. Trying to think of the best way. For those of you who've probably seen The Big Bang Theory, and they always talk about string theory, and string theory is in Hercules, the older generation, the younger generation probably won't know this, but the older generation has seen Hercules, the cartoon, and right when Hercules jumped into the well of the Death Souls, I forgot what the hell it was called, but it was the well of souls, whatever it was, and if you jumped in there, it would pretty much sucked the life away from you, and that's when he kind of embraced his godhood. It's kind of goes with the Jesus factor too, because Jesus did the same thing right before he died on the cross. Technically, it was he embraced the godhood in him, and that's how he was able to resurrect himself. But right, what I'm trying to get at is right when Hercules was diving in there, the three witches were going to cut his string of fate, and then it turned into a gold string, and then their scissors couldn't cut it, and they're like, "Oh my God, what happened?" But at that moment, Hercules became a god to save his woman that he loved. That's exactly what they're talking about, in the Big Bang Theory, where they're trying to, deal with the string theory, which is the same thing. Well, in your spiritual world, there's that string, and if you really see a deeper, we only see the outside perspective of it, but the inner perspective is spiraling, like DNA almost, and it's all your lives, your past lives, your life and this life, and in that, during this life, you have parts of you. This is your pieces of your soul, they break off because trauma and pain or suffering, and that part of you pops off, and then it grows up. So say when I didn't have a beard, I'm gonna give a good example. This is again, I was healing a lot of my sexual energy, so it could be better for healing, because you can pass on demons, and that's not good either, when you're healing on people. And even if you're worked on this stuff, things try to attach to you, and when you're working on people, they can sliver through your energy into the other person's energy as you're healing. So that's why it's always important, to cleanse yourself, kind of like a doctor cleanses themselves right before they go do surgery, so they're, they're antibacterial, they're bacteria free. And so pieces of your soul. So I'm doing here, I'll give them I'm telling another story of so I'm doing whether it's past life or this life, it's still past tense, past life, because it's the beginning parts of my life. And when I was a kid, it turned out my dad had told me this, and back when I was a Christian, I was kind of God, forgive them so they can heal and I can heal, and well, I found out that I was 27 years old, so I'm 32 now, but I did this fixing, I fixed this shit, spiritually fixed it, which did a great change on my soul. I was molested when I was 2 years old. I did when I was fixed it 30, 31, between that time period, and I found out that I was raped when I was 2 years old, and my dad was just telling me this, I was 27 when he's telling me this. I'm we're working together, I'm in his truck, and he's telling me how this is why I don't let people just be watching kids, or didn't let nobody watch y'all, and and why I didn't like your mom. Sometimes I hated your mom having y'all, and it's passed down from your mom to your sister, because your sister, my older sister, she's a bit crazy. My mom's a bit crazy. It kind of runs in the Jewish side of my family on the female side. It was a curse, which I broke, because now some reason my mom and my sister are not acting that kind of crazy anymore. Actually being pretty chill. But it was and I'll get into that curse down the future, down later on in the future, because curses are witches' curses and stuff like that. Not just witches, but evil gods and stuff like that, or bitchy gods, goddesses or gods, whatever in your past that they did this shit too when they did it, and sometimes it's to spite you, sometimes it was to steal your energy, to cause you suffering, because they feed off that and that powers them. But he told me when I was like 2 years old, I was being babysitted, and while my dad and my mom were both working, and it was just too much for her. And so one of my mom's friends, because my mom was like always friends with very eccentric people, and you gotta be careful. Even in the spiritual community, you start coming across people that are very eccentric people, and you gotta be careful, because people like to put on masks. If you're not spiritually gifted to be able to see past that mask, you can come across really bad people, and they could put harm on your family and stuff like that. Well, so I'm like 2 years old. My dad was coming to pick me up after work and from my mom's friend's house, and she was been babysitting for a little while, and they've been noticing I've been having some butthole issues, and they didn't know why, and I was always irritated. And then my dad comes in, and he happened to go knock on the door, and no one answered, but the door was cracked open. So he kind of came in and snuck into the house and was like, "Hey," I forgot whatever he said her name was, because I have this problem in my mind of out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. Same things with names, with people's names. If I don't talk to you often, you're one of my normal people, my friends, I forget your name, or you're it's not that you're not important. You might be important, I don't know, but if you're really important, you're gonna just stick. But but the same, remember the situation, he was telling me that he came in and saw her doing something in the back room, and then he kind of kept sneaking over, because he's like, I had this weird feeling, so I needed to be quiet, kind of be like a ninja assassin, trying to catch you in the act, and because he had this bad feeling. And so then dad being dad, he came across, and she was fingering me in my butthole while sucking my little baby penis while touching herself with her other hand. And so she was pretty much molesting me as a kid. And that part of my soul though, so now I'll explain, now my dad, protected me, got me out of there, called the cops, and she suffered whatever she suffered. And he never really told me, but then it's good to tell your kids stuff, these bad things happen, because kids were 2 or 3 years old, your brain, as you get older, you don't remember these things, and you can't speak, so you kind of forget, and it becomes a trauma, and you don't even know it's a trauma. So, but that piece of my soul broke off. So imagine a piece of my soul falls off of me, right? And it's pain and suffering. And so in the process of that pain and suffering, it's imagine you see my face like it is now, right? But I'm completely bald-headed, no beard. And that baby just grew up to be a grown man. And you ever seen in some of y'all might know this, but in the medieval times where the person was putting the wooden thing around that and they would be put in the middle of town square. I forgot what it's called, but it's it puts you in your hands and your head in a lock, and then they put a lock on it, and then you have to just bent over and you're just stuck in the thing. And I forgot what it's called. And this woman is now raping me, and but I see a demonic version, because it's a demon. Demons are spiritual things that are that are inside of people, and whether inside their soul or inside and it was raping me still in my butthole. So I'm screaming. There's this other demon standing in the corner, and she's and I see this evil looking demon, and it's just raping me, and it's huge, because I'm a grown man now, so it's gotten bigger and bigger and worse and worse. And I always felt this weird energy down below me, something that was fucking me up, and I didn't like it, but part of me liked it, and just it's the truth, this again, this is the dark night of the soul part of shit, to heal these parts of you is to literally dive and literally see the things that could it could traumatize you just seeing it. But it's the difference, because I'm strong, I'm healing, I'm growing my energy, and I'm going to fix these things inside me. And so I pretty much because in the spiritual world, you kind of get the telekinesis and stuff like that, because the spiritual world's this world, but right next to the world. But I'm in a hell right now. So nose itching. But so I telekinesis her, grab her and throw her against the wall. And then I've been learning gifts, my powers, because I've been unlocking them. And so I sliced her. So I used a wind slice, I used wind energy, and And if you understand like science and shit, you can make wind go so fast it can slice things. And so I'm like, I just adapt what I know here in this physical world and kind of add it to the spiritual world. So like plus magic, like doing magical shit in a sense. And I sliced her, and in the process of me slicing her, I learned gravity, where like I kind of like use this dark energy, the darkness, gravity itself, because light and darkness are hand in hand, and like I grab them and I kind of like pull it into a ball, like a gravity ball, like a black hole kind of, and then I take my light energy and I cleanse it. And then it turns into like these little stardust speckles. And I mean, that's how you transmute energies, by taking your light energy and squeezing it until it pops, going boop, and then like it turns into like stardust, like snow falling in the sky, like it's just floating in the air, but like it's stars, little stars. And if you could tell by your energy at the time, like what energy it is, because it'd be like red energy, orange energy, yellow, blue, gold, purple, red, like different colors of red. So it's just like, you'll figure it out. Like as you're growing, you kind of figure out, the more you pay attention to the details, the more you kind of start noticing like this is of like what part of the energy this is affecting, which is like, mine was like, it was like orangish, reddish colors. So like my instincts, my survival, and my sexual energy, because she was raping me sexually, but I was unprotected. Like, so my instincts, my survival, because my survival was damaged from it because I couldn't protect myself because I was just a baby. Like, even though my dad ended up coming protecting me, like it still fucked up my instincts of like, I felt like insecure of being strong, because at that moment in time, it made me feel so weak, and my soul felt that. And I was healing my soul part of myself, but also my 2-year-old self. So like I killed her, and I killed the other demon. I was standing in the corner and like turned their energy into positive energy, and I like released the shackles of me in the little thing in the like prison thing that had me locked up, and he fell back, like, because he's probably tired. He's been like stuck in this position for a long, long time. And it was scared. That part of me was so scared that even it was scared of its own self. Like it was scared of me, like, even though, because I'm different. I don't look the same. I look like him, but he's probably never seen himself ever. So like, he didn't know who I was. But I decided, like, let me put this energy back into him, because it's me. So I was like, I'm just putting the energy back into me, just another part of me. And like, it went into him, and he kind of calmed down a little bit. And I like went over and started hugging him. I'm like, because I was like, I know you need love. And like, as I was like showing him love, he started like getting smaller and smaller. Like he was like transforming from this man into the baby going back to the baby form. But as that was happening, the area around the vision started going from demonic to like the actual what was happening. Like I saw everything, and I see my dad, my young version of my dad, because like I happen to know what my young version of my dad looked like. But I, like a lot of times in the spiritual world, you're seeing things for what they really are. And but now I'm telling him like, your dad's coming here, which is our dad. He's like, he's coming to save us, like he always protects us from other people. Now I'll say this, he's going to fail in some ways, because my dad did fail as being a father protector in a sense, because he was an abuser also, because he was drinking and doing meth. But that's another healing session. But he's working, like my dad, you see my dad come in here screaming at her, putting his hands on her, like, putting her down on the ground, grabbing me. He like tied her up, and then he calls the cops. So you see him like on the, like grabbing the house phone. He has me in his arms. He's like calling the cops. I can like kind of understand what he's saying, because, I'm hearing it from baby's perspective, but at the same time being spiritual. So like, I know more what's going on. And so I'm like, so he's like calling the cops. He's like, get him here. And, pretty much so she can be taken to jail. And then after that, my dad made sure that no one ever really watched us, other than like if it was like close family, and he trusted that family, because like even then, you have to be careful of family, because some family members out there be some creeps too. I've heard lots of stories where people like, oh yeah, my uncle raped me, or shit like that, or my, like hearing my mom's dad like touched, like people's moms' dads touched them and stuff like that. Like it's just fucked up, But even like males experience things too, and people like this, where people like, like degrade that shit, but like it really can fuck you up. Even if it's like, even if you internalize it and don't heal from it, it can fuck your whole future up, because it like that part of you gets affected, and eventually will become a demon itself. Because like sometimes demons aren't just like an outside source, it's an internal source that like never healed and turns into a demon. And if you don't heal that, then it will eventually take over. And it usually takes over like when you're drinking or getting fucked up on drugs, and that inner demon of yours like comes out to play. And then people are like, you're a whole different person. That's because there's a part of you that's unhealed. And that part of you is somebody else that's been affected and harmed and damaged. And they get to come out and play. Even so, but like when you're sober, you have more control of yourself. So like the portal is like closed, like the chakras are blocked because maybe you block the chakras, you know, which is where like the different parts of you, which is like I explained, like the stardust I saw were like reds and oranges, and which is your root and your sacral, which is your sacred energy, which is your sexual energy, and your root energy is your survival instincts, your like animal, kind of like your animal instincts, or like the fight in you, like the get up and go, the part of you that says, I need to survive, like no matter what it takes, I'm gonna get through this, you know? And trauma can lock those up, which is like you'll meet people that are like very unmotivated or very not very sexually, like aren't very like sexually active because something in them has like internalized and blocked it. Like, so that energy isn't there no more. And don't get me wrong, like don't get twisted because others can like be the opposite. Where they're like so sexual that no control, that like they're impulsive and just trying to fuck whatever they can fuck or get fucked by whatever they want to get fucked by. It's just what it is, you know? And, but in the process of that, the me version kept healing because it was seeing dad is grabbing me, dad's protecting me. He's getting me away from this woman. I never have to deal with this woman again. And my love, because I'm loving on him, because it's me loving myself. And like, cause like sometimes you need to be loved and you didn't know. And so you're being loved and like I'm loving on him, and until he turned to like a full-size baby with a diaper. And then like all of a sudden, and this is the first time I ever see this string of fate, the string of fate, the time thing, like it was just like floating above us. And like my inner soul, my higher spirit that I've already unlocked, I've unlocked a couple higher spirits of mine, and my inner child, I've unlocked my like spiritual inner, my magic, the energetic inner child. And like they're kind of like guiding me, because like at first, like I said, I'm still not fully hearing everything. I'm just like trusting the feeling. I'm trusting in them that they're guiding me correctly, because like I wouldn't even gotten there if they didn't guide me there, you know. And so like I raised up the baby me, and it like popped back into my timeline, and then like everything that had affected me in the timeline, like all things, I started seeing all these things, these parts of me that were in my timeline that I was seeing, that was fucked up from this moment that I did not know, from 2 years old, raping, molestation of me, being raped and shit like that had affected so much of my life, and like my belief system, my strengths, my courage. You know, like the things that I should never have been affected by was there, you know, because like I was always timid in ways, and like, but like I was becoming strong, because that's one of the things I was telling myself. I was like, well, I'm becoming strong. Like I'm so strong. No one can do this to me, you know, like no one can have power over me, you know. And the same thing like happened. So like, it's like, you know, like let's go on also like, so like then I like now after that week, like I felt the whole difference throughout the week, you know. And then because like a lot of things like people don't realize, like if you become powerful, you don't notice really how powerful you become. Like it becomes natural in your body. It just like becomes a natural thing. Just like when you're working out, like, yeah, you know you're strong, you feel strong when you're picking something heavy up, but like when you're not doing stuff and you're just walking around naturally, you don't feel that strength. You just like, it just feels like another day, you know. I know when I go work out, I'm gonna feel the soreness. And that tells me I gotten stronger, or I'm building muscle. But you don't really notice these things until like the moment happens, and you're like, damn, man, I'm strong. Like I pick up my girl like it ain't shit, you know. Or like I just grabbed this 250-pound air conditioner and lifted it off the ground by myself, and just like kind of use my knees and like deadlift it, you know, like, and you know, put it up, you know. Like people don't realize those things because it's just becomes natural in you, you know. So, like, but you feel at first, you know, like when you're dealing with something, I felt the difference. I felt lighter. I felt more better. I felt more healed, you know, and it was affecting a lot of things. It affected like my relationships with my friends, my girlfriends at the time, you know, like there's things, and there's other things that affected my relationships too, you know, like things that had hurt me. But it's like I'm healing. My world changes. This is why, like, you got to fix inside of you so the outside world is more better. Does that make sense? Like, so me healing internally fixes externally. So I don't even have to go out here and like make the changes. The changes like will start happening. The people that I used to hang out with that weren't right for me start falling off like branches and leaves. Like they're just falling off, like, and then like I'm realizing, oh, I deserve more. Now I'm getting these boundaries. I'm setting these boundaries now because like this can't happen. Like now I'm feeling more energy, because like I feel this because of this moment in my life has told me like this is the energy feeling of it. This is like what it feels like. So now I know to stay away from these type of people or these type of animals or beings or spiritual entities, And so this is why it's important to do the healing, because it can change your whole entire life. Sometimes it's one thing in your life, and that's either your past life or in this life that you're living now. One thing, one person healing, one part of yourself can change 100 parts of your timeline. It can change timelines, because if you don't heal it, you stay in that cycle, which that cycle just keeps repeating. So the timeline, you stay in that timeline. This is where people some people talk about jumping timelines, but this is really how you jump timelines, is by changing the way things are happening internally. And by fixing the internal, it fixes the external, because like we're all one consciousness. And if we're all one, and we're all part of a whole system that's based off of our mentality, like mind over matter, like mind over the matter, right? So like our mind controls the matter in a sense, the way our thoughts work. And if I'm having these thoughts or these feelings are happening, then it starts becoming my reality. So like there's just different things out there that can really make a difference. And this is why I say, again, I'm just always going to make it important, why it's important to do past work healing, because it can change. The whole world can change just by you healing, and not just healing physically, like healing my leg or healing my arm or healing my left eye, because you can heal that too. Like once you start learning spiritual work, doing spiritual work, or coming across the right person that can teach you, they'll teach you things that you can heal yourself. Because don't run I can do some healing on people, but if you don't heal, then it'll just keep coming. Think of you ever heard the theory of demons? I might cast this one demon out of you, but if you keep fucking doing the stupid shit you've been doing that brought the demon in the first place, 8 more demons are going to come along with that one demon, And that's where you hit legion of demons, right? And then you might cast out all those demons, but then a lot more demons. This is where you get people schizophrenia, bipolarness, because they're hearing the spirits, but they're so scared because there's no one like me or other people that are gifted to help you, guide you through this. So you get scared and you live in fear, and then fear takes over, and then people just hit you with drugs, right? They give you pills and stuff like that, and oh, you're bipolar or schizophrenic, and it's actually there's parts of your history, parts in your soul that's fucked up, and you can fix that. But you have to be willing to put the work in. You can't be lazy. It takes a choice. Everyone has a choice, right? Even in the Bible, if you want to go with it biblically, right? God gave us free will. So you're free to choose to heal, or you're free to choose to live in a narcissistic, victimized personality. If you want to play victim, then the world will victimize you always. But you live in as I'm a warrior, and I'm a fighter, and I'm a healer, then you're going to heal, and you're going to be able to fight. You're going to be able to work. You're going to get through this, because who you are and who you decide to be. It's about what you build yourself up. Because think of this. Think of here's a good example of what I'm trying to explain, more in a physical understanding. This is what unlocks the spiritual, right? Is that especially people who come to God kind of thing, Is that where maybe here's a good example, you're in a relationship, you're really in love, you gave it your all, and she just fucks you over, right? For me, Lisa, let's say male or female, right? Or she's just not what she's she just doesn't want to change while you're trying to do all this stuff, and you're feeling you're doing all the extra work, and they're just sitting in their bed texting on their phone all day. But you're I want you to text me. All right, why can't you cook? Why can't you just clean on your own? Why do I have to push you? Why do I have to do stuff with you to get you to do this when you are growing out the door? No one makes me go to work. I have to go to work because I have to pay these bills, right? Like, and you kept putting in the work and work and work, and they just kept shitting on you and making you feel like you're the shitty person when you're just asking them to do something simple as like love you or help you or step up, like do their part, which they should have been doing already, right? Which is something that shouldn't have been like as like something you shouldn't have even had to ask for, right? But you would put up with it because you didn't have these boundaries for yourself, right? And then you guys break up and you're hurt and you're broken. And then part of you, because they're narcissists, the part of you that's hurt and empathetic, you start having empathy for them, right? It's because it's who we are. And we start thinking, maybe it was really just all my fault. Like, I got to heal, right? And don't get me wrong, like sometimes, because there are things, like one thing I've learned now is like, instead of me going crazy over the shit, now my boundaries are in place. Now I'm like, you got to go. Like, I don't have time for this shit. I've done ask you nicely. I'm not going to say, I don't want to make a person change. I will not force you to change. But I will ask you, if this relationship, if you really love me, if this is really worth it, you will work on yourself to be better for our relationship and not be lazy. And I will not have to ask you every couple days to get back on your fucking shit, okay? Because I'll go months, weeks, being on it. And don't get me wrong, like, I might fail here and there. Failure happens, okay? That's one thing I'll give you the leeway of. But if it's just like you give me like a day or two and then you go back to your bullshit, I'm cool. I'm done with that. You know what I mean? Like, you're showing me what it's worth to you. And a person who really loves you especially because I love hard. I love so hard that I know what I bring to the table and what I will be willing to do for us. But what I won't put up with is that narcissistic bullshit where like, you're not going to step up. But before I would have problems. I would just like go through it. And I started going crazy, and my soul didn't like it. But I didn't know how to hear. I didn't know how to listen to my soul. I didn't know how to listen to my higher self going, hey, bro, just give it up. Like, it's not worth it. Stop before it breaks your soul, before it breaks you even more, because it's hurting your heart, and your heart is squeezing instead of opening. And you're closing deeper and deeper. Just walk away so you can heal, but so you don't get so damaged that it takes you forever to heal, And then like you do hit that part of you breaking up, right? Now, how do you build yourself back up? Well, you start coming up with like, well, I'm not going to put up with this, or I'm not going to do this, but like then it happens again. And then you go through the same shit again. But it might be a little bit different because you did heal in some ways. You did set some of these boundaries, but you still go to the crazy. And you're like, no, this ain't worth it, And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you do the spiritual healing, the real work, the real spiritual work, because all we're taught is how to pray. But we aren't really taught how to build our soul up. And that's why it's most important to do all this healing and build things inside you, like to build your spirit, like to make a happy place for you, to create the seed of life, the tree of life, to connect to the fountain of youth, technically, the energy that pours from the crown into your chakras. It's important to build these things. It's important to build your chakras up and create the rings and all this other stuff, which, I'm going to get into too, but I'm just trying to get into more why it's important to heal. And why it's important to grow your powers, because like you got to protect, sometimes you come into your past lives and you got to deal with demons and you got to fight these demons. And how are you going to fight these demons if you have no power? Do you understand what I'm saying? And this is why it's important, because and then you come across people now and they're demons, and now you won't be affected. I'm barely affected by people's demons. Now if they come near me, they see I bring out either the good or bad in them. If they're good and they're spiritually gifted, I'm still cool with you to this day. People know that. People that I work with now still in the spiritual world, and my oldest friends, they know that like I don't put up with your shit, and I won't put up my own shit, and I expect you not to put up my shit. I expect you, if you're real, you're gonna tell me, hey bro, you're fucking up. You gotta fix this. Like it's really affecting you. And don't get me wrong, like I'm gonna think about it, because like, is it me or is it you? Like if it's really me, I'm gonna really think about it. Like maybe you're right, because that's what a mature healed person does, is heal people, hurt people. And this is why I'm saying it's so important to how you build yourself up and heal yourself and truly heal yourself, So again, this is my part 4. I have Facebook. It's Paul the Builder Lee. Hope you guys, this helps some of y'all. I know it probably won't reach everyone, but I hope it reaches the right people. And if you guys need help, again, I do exorcisms and energy cleansings. And I do that. That does cost money. But if like you want me to help you grow and heal yourself and grow your own powers, I teach that for free, because knowledge is power itself. And I've been taught freely and always been gifted by God's blessings, by the higher powers blessings, whatever you want to say. It's source, creation, God, goddess, whatever you want, God of goddess of divine, whatever you want to consider it. They have helped me, and they provided me the greatest work in the spiritual world. And I want to give that back, just like everything else that has been given to me in this world freely. The only thing I do charge, like I said, is real actual exorcisms and spiritual cleansings, because that's part of my trade and my work ethics of putting into my spiritual growth. So again, if you need me, Paul the Builder Lee, message me on here. I don't know how this fully works. It's like I'm just starting this out, and I haven't really got anybody to hit me up yet. But I will do my best always to help others and making the world a better place. Take care. Good luck out there, guys. May y'all be blessed.